Your Excellencies, dear delegates and members of the United Nations Office for South-South Cooperation, it is my pleasure and an honor to be with you here today. My name is Zeynep Tura. I am the current chair of Turkish Management Consultants Association. In the time allowed, I would like to present you with a different perspective to the interaction between the consultancy world and the business world. There is no doubt that we live in an age of information. Data is everywhere, in everything around us. Knowledge is power, information is money, and all three live hand in hand. All activities, from the most basic chemical reactions to the most complex processes, generate data. Data is everywhere. Life itself is data. The universe is a big mega heap of data. It's not a coincidence that countries that are aware of this fact are more advanced than those that are not. Data awareness leads to higher GDP. And by awareness, I mean understanding the importance of data. Data comes in many forms: on and off in simple mechanical systems, ones and zeros in digital systems, between 0 and 1 in quantum systems, like, unlike, follow, unfollow in a digital social environment, and even yummy, I love this, I want more, or yuck, I hate it, I'm going to throw up reactions in our own bodies that are the organic systems that produce data. If you are connected, that data goes somewhere in the world's largest copying machine and storage space we call the Internet. There, somewhere beyond the rainbow, all data accumulates. Then come the people whose job is to work with the data. These are the data hunters, the data gatherers, the data miners, the data collectors. They collect specific data and perform extensive analysis. The end result is the research report, the survey result, the white paper, the little book of knowledge, and so forth. These people are the interpreters that convert masses of raw data into intelligible, comprehensible data. Once it was extremely difficult to obtain interpreted data. Now, thanks to the Internet, data is literally at our fingertips. Anyone can find the data they require, wherever it may be. At a price, of course. Every type of data is attainable, but the real know-how is in the application or how to use the specific data. This is where the management consultant comes into the picture. Consultants are the channels through which interpreted data is delivered to the producers of raw data, mainly the businesses. Now let's take a brief look at the changes in the global consulting market. When we look at the figures from the consulting industry, we see that the regions and countries that are more advanced in terms of economic welfare, technology usage, technology production, access to resources, as well as better governance, better healthcare, and so forth, are the ones that employ the highest number of consultants and purchase the highest portion of the consulting services produced globally. There is a direct correlation between the management consultant services employed and GDP levels. Once again, this is not a coincidence. Countries or economies that are aware of the importance of data are also aware of the importance of channels that enable access to that data. Consultancy and advancement go hand in hand. I like to call this upward spiral effect the DNA of development, or the business consulting double helix. Just like the DNA of living organisms, the business consultancy DNA is a living thing, a continuous interaction between the data producers and the data workers. Consultants are inextricably linked to the success of organizations. The produce, collect, process, implement, and improve spiral is a continuous improvement spiral. Businesses create data, consultants collect data and accumulate know-how. Then they transfer this know-how to businesses where new values and thus new data are created. Now about the methods of the consultancy to business DNA transfer. It is important to know the 6 W's when delivering consultancy services to a business. The first one is, what type of data is needed? The second is, why is this data important? The third one is, where can we find the required data? The fourth one is, how will we analyze this data? How will we transform the gathered raw data into intelligible information? The fifth question is, which data will we use? And the sixth question that needs to be answered is, when and where will we use the data? But just as an unmatching DNA will disrupt the whole organism, an unmatching solution will have a negative impact on the business. Now, most of the data produced in the world comes from the G7 countries. While this gives a good perspective and a goal for the developing economies, local data, local human resources, and local applications are mandatory for the regional businesses to grow. The same principle applies to management consulting services. Without strong and reliable management consulting services, the regional SMEs will not be able to develop as desired. But the shoe has to fit. While international consulting companies are extremely capable, their services, because of the high prices involved, are just as unreachable for SMEs that are the driving forces of a healthy economy. Regional SMEs must be able to have access to reliable and fresh local data and work with capable local regional consultants who know the conditions and the requirements of the region better while having mastered global consulting techniques. As a consultant in business for over 25 years, I have to admit that sometimes I get envious of my colleagues in the G7. They have reliable and abundant data, better access to resources, as well as clients who know about and request consulting services. They are quite well paid for their effort, but most important of all, the results can be easily observed and measured, and the businesses are much more sustainable than the ones in the developing countries. Still, so far so good, I'm still in business. Now I'd like to introduce you to Turkish Management Consultants Association's approach and vision. Now, Turkish Management Consultants Association, YDD, was founded in 1990, almost before many of the consultancy institutes in the European countries. I personally believe that sustainable growth can only be achieved through cooperation and collaboration of all stakeholders involved in whatever the problem is or whatever the objective is. Thus, we have a paradigm shift in YDD. We are no longer focusing solely on management consultants, but on all other stakeholders that are related to the consulting environment. The stakeholders in our case are, of course, the management consultants, then the private sector, the public sector, and the academic world. As Turkish Management Consultants Association, we developed a model that aims to bring all these stakeholders and forces together. Our aims are as follows. Firstly, to encourage all members to further improve their capabilities, both personally and technically. To achieve this, we established YDD Academy, which is providing training programs aimed for management consultants only. We are also in direct contact with local universities for certificate programs in management consulting. Another step is toward national certification. And for those consultants who are more competitive, we encourage them to go through the Certified Management Consultant Certification, the CMC certification. Secondly, developing sectors and industries need nurturing and support. Management consulting sector is still very young in Turkey. We need support in the form of special regulations, funds, and incentives that will enable the local consulting firms to grow and become more competitive in the region. Thirdly, good relations with representatives of the private sector is as important. YDD is member of 2 different federations covering 18 different sectors of industry. These are business federations and not consulting ones. Together with these business associations and federations, we are developing projects that aim to collect fresh raw data and provide reliable research results. And finally, our fourth goal. Through our ties with the universities, public sector and the private sector, and of course NGOs, YDD aims to become the point of reference for all management consultancy cases. In this regard, we organized Management Forum Turkey in April of 2018. The topic was change and managing change. The participants were from all parts of the economy: entrepreneurs, government representatives, NGOs, CEOs, executives, and all these people came from various industries, as well as consultants and academics. We will continue organizing workshops related to the event. The Management Forum Turkey event will be repeated annually with a new topic each year that has significant impact on the growth and development of SMEs. In this regard, we are open to all sorts of new ideas and projects for collaboration, capacity building, and knowledge sharing with our colleagues in the region. I believe that together with the support of international organizations like the United Nations Office for South-South Cooperation, strong ties between management consultants and SMEs are the key to a better, sustainable, and wealthier future. Thank you for your time and attention.